Hi everyone. Long time no video. I had a comment on one of my previous videos from a lady named Jennifer, and she wondered how I was doing, so I replied back to her, and I thought I would update everyone on what's going on. So back in about March, I think it was, I had to pack up most of my belongings, including my dolls. There was a roach problem in this building, and the landlady is trying to blame that on me and get me to pay $1,200 and something dollars towards or just for the entire exterminator for my unit and surrounding units. She's trying to blame the roach problem on my doll collection, because I have so many dolls and she hates the dolls. I don't really know how the dolls could have contributed to the roach problem, but she thinks somehow that me having so many dolls caused a roach problem in some of the units here. So my friend was like pretty much trying to make light of it, and she's like, well, what the dolls do, like, come to life, go out where the roaches are somewhere, come back and spread them in your unit and other people's units. So December 6th, I have a Zoom hearing with the landlord-tenant board. I do have a lawyer, and she is working on getting the case thrown out because she said, just reading it, and I've read it myself, she said it looks like it's written by an elementary school student. Um, my lawyer is saying there's no proof that I caused any roach problem or that the dolls caused it or, whatever. There was roaches in other units, according to the report, that were about the same age as the roaches I had. So, it could have originated in this unit. It could have originated in one of the other units. There's no proof. And I even asked the exterminator when he was here, I said, did I cause this? I showed him, all my dolls were packed away at this point, but I showed him pictures when he was here. I'm like, this is how my apartment was, the dolls on the shelves and everything. And he said, well, there's no proof that you did or you didn't cause the roaches. He said, okay, maybe even if you did, because it's not like you did it on purpose, right? I'm like, well, of course not. He said, maybe a roach, he said, if you did cause it, maybe a roach got on like my shoes or my clothes or one of my guest shoes or clothes or something like that. He goes, there's no proof. So this building is really going downhill fast, but I can't really afford to move. And there's an apartment shortage here in this city. We have a lot of people coming over to go to college from, it seems like a lot of the students are coming from India. And there is like a rental housing shortage because there's so many students coming over. And, it's ridiculous. There's one student I work with at Little Caesars. He's a college student and he is here from India, and he is renting just a room for more than I'm paying for this apartment. Now, it's not a big apartment, but I mean, it's not just a room. We all think that, like my lawyer and my friends and family, everyone thinks she's just trying to get me out so she can raise the rent. She is charging new tenants about $300 more per month. Plus, she's making them pay electricity. I think it's just electricity. I'm not sure if it's all utilities or just electricity, but I have all inclusive. I signed on for that before her company took over. When I first moved here with the first company, I think it was pay $50 more a month and your hydro electricity is included. So I said, yeah, I'll pay the $50 more a month. And I thought, like electricity rates are so unknown. Maybe I'd pay $50 this month. Maybe next month I'll pay 60. Maybe next month I'll pay 100. And then I'm like, then that's two separate payments I have to make. So when I first moved here, I signed that for, I think it was 50 or maybe $100 more a month, that I will have all inclusive. So yeah, December 6th, I have to appear via Zoom to the landlord tenant board. I did get a lawyer through community legal assistance because I didn't have the money to pay the big bucks for a lawyer. So I applied for the community legal assistance, and it turns out I qualified because my hours at work are just all over the place. Like, I might be working 3 hours a day, I might be working 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, I never know. Like, there's no guarantee of hours. So today, my babies and everything have been packed away since about March. And today, I wasn't supposed to access them. Since I wasn't able, I was able, but I didn't, because I didn't want to risk a reinfestation. Excuse me. Yeah, so I did get a few of my babies out. I don't think I'll get them all out until after my hearing to find out if I have to stay or if I have to move, or, I might end up having to pay the $1,200 whatever dollars for the exterminator fees. But my lawyer is pretty confident that we will win. She's like, the lawyer told me she's working on getting the case dismissed right now because I guess the form that the landlady used or whatever she did is an older form, and that's not how it's done anymore. And she goes, we'll work on, first of all, getting your case thrown out for now. She goes, what'll probably happen is the landlady will realize that, this isn't the proper form or whatever. She'll then get the proper form, and then, she'll try this nonsense again. So the lawyer's like, we're just going to be prepared, and I'm going to argue with the landlady or her lawyer or whatever, and say, like, there's no proof that I caused any roaches. A doll collection doesn't cause roaches. Like, the landlady needs to, get her head into reality and realize that, it's just a collection. And the lawyer said, like, what if it was a collection of something else? She goes, like, okay. She goes, from what you say, a lot of people don't like dolls, which we all know, especially the reborn dolls. For some reason, at least that's my experience. But she said, what if it was like a collection of, she said, I don't know, like antiques, or she said she knows someone who collects teapots or something like that. And I've sent the lawyer photos of how I had my dolls displayed, and they were on, well, not all, but most were on shelves. This is my dresser. Like, these ones are just sitting on my dresser, which is how I had some babies before, on the dresser. And then I also have some displayed on my bed like this. Excuse my messy bed, but yeah. And the lawyer's like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, the landlady is trying to say that I'm a hoarder, and that the dolls were piled up on the floor, like floor to ceiling, and this and that. And everyone who knows me in real life was like, okay, we all know that, the rest of my place may be a total mess, be total chaos, but the dolls are always nice and neat and not, I would never pile them up on the floor, especially these reborns. I said, these are expensive dolls. I said, they're like, $400 or $500 at least per doll. And I think she was shocked at the price of them. I'm like, on the cheaper ones are like 200 to 300. I say, like maybe they're 200 to 300 because they have a slight mistake on them or something like that. And I don't know, but whatever. And I wouldn't pile up my dolls on the floor. And I don't believe that having a large collection of dolls on shelves, on a dresser, on my bed is hoarding. And, my lawyer's working with me. She's going to call me either later this week or early next week and let me know if she got in touch with my landlady, because she's trying to get her to, back off and throw this case out, because she's trying to let her know that, there's no proof that I did or I didn't cause roaches. And even if I did cause them, she's trying to give that argument like it was an accident, like the exterminator said it could have come in on my shoes or my clothes or something like that, and that dolls don't cause roach problems, and that, the landlady needs to back off and tell me to stop, selling. Landlady has suggested a few times that I should sell some of my dolls, which I do have 2 up for sale, but nobody's buying them. But, she doesn't understand that right now it's hard to sell reborn dolls. And she doesn't understand that the reborn community, most people see these as their baby, not as their doll. And I said, for me, it's hard to get into that mentality and write up a whole adoption story, to get a couple of dolls sold. And I said, I'm selling mine for cheap, but not cheap. I said, like, I have one for $350 and one for $150. But I said, nobody's buying them. And if they don't sell, I'm going to keep them. Like, I'm not going to just dump these somewhere at the Goodwill or whatever. So if you could all pray for me, I really can't afford to move because, as I said, my hours are so sporadic right now. I have been looking for a second and a third job, and I am working with a career counselor, and he is, signing me up for a bunch of workshops and stuff on how to do interviews, how to do your resume, which I've been through all this before. Years ago, I went through all this, and, but I'm like, it doesn't hurt to, brush up on those skills. So I'm working with a career counselor, and hopefully he can help me find either one full-time job or 2 or 3 part-time jobs, because I'm not happy with the hours I'm getting at my current job, and the way they're treating me at my current job. Like, I used to do pretty much everything except for cash, because I have a problem with math, so I just don't get it, and I'm not fast enough to be on cash. So, but now they've changed the system, and I'm like, I need more training on this. I don't understand, blah, 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 and nobody's trained me on it, so they think that I can't do things. Well, I can't, because you never trained me. So, I don't know what to do. I'm really scared that, like I can't move. And I think if worse comes to worse, if I lose, that if I pay the exterminator bill, which I have been saving my money, and I probably can pay it, but I'm trying to, say like I want to make payments or something if I lose. And my lawyer's like, that's more than reasonable. So we shall see. Hopefully I win. Like I don't really want to stay here, but I do. Just because of the price. And I'm so scared, with everybody losing jobs left, right, and center because of the pandemic. I moved here years ago, and I'll admit it, I was on welfare at the time. I was working part-time as a dishwasher and getting welfare. And I know that if I ever go on welfare again, like the price that this place is for rent per month, I know if I'm ever on welfare again, that I can at least I think from what my friend tells me, she's on welfare. And, if I go on welfare again, that I can at least pay the rent. So, I can at least keep the roof over my head if, worse comes to worse and I'm not getting another job and not getting enough hours at work or whatever. Then if I have to go on welfare, I can at least pay the rent, and the rest I can figure out later. Like I don't know what to do. This landlady's, since she's taken over, her company has taken over this building. She's been nothing but a witch with a bee, shall we say. I'm sure you all know what I mean. So, yeah, and I have been dressing them for Christmas as they come out. Now, her twin here, Nora, she's Noah by Reva Schick, but I called her Nora. I do have a twin for her, which is Cheyenne or Cian, or I call her Cheyenne, but I think it's Cian, Cianne or something like that, by I think Romy Stridham. That is her twin, and I haven't found her yet, but she's around somewhere, or she better be. But when she is, I'll get her out and add her to this. I can maybe squish up the babies a bit more. And I do have some good news. I did add a new baby to my collection the other day, but I left her at my parents' house because I had to go to work. And I was like, I want to get all the babies that I have here unpacked first. But I got her for $100, and she was local. She was in my city, just a couple blocks away from where my parents live. So I took the bus the other day and picked up this reborn. It's Holly by Donna Rubert, and she was $100. And I'm like, what? I mean, she's not the best reborn out there, like not like a prototype quality, but definitely worth, I don't know, I'd probably say if I were to sell her, I'd get about $250. Not that I want to sell her, I do want to keep her, and nobody has really bothered me for her anyway. The one everybody keeps bothering me about is my Charlotte at 11 months by Laura Lee Eagles. I've had so many people bug me about Charlotte, and I said, yeah, okay, I'm going to sell her for $500 million. And then people are like, I'm offended because you're asking so much money. I'm like, well, don't you understand that it's not for sale in the first place? And I figured, okay, for $500 million, I'll sell anything except Garfield, of course. But, $500 million would sure solve a lot of problems for me and a lot of my friends and family. So, yeah, again, if you could all just keep me in your prayers and thoughts. I'm really scared. And I have to do the whole thing over Zoom because of COVID. And I mean, I asked my lawyer, could I be in the same room as you? Because I'm not very familiar with Zoom. And she said, no, it's the regulations for COVID that we can't. So please pray that I can figure out Zoom and that the hearing with the landlord-tenant board goes my way. Now, I did dress the babies for Christmas, except for my two little preemies. I gotta find them something. So I think I'll head out to Carter's tomorrow, maybe, and look if they have any preemie Christmas jammies. So I will do what their kits are. I don't know their reborn address. I forget on all of these ones actually, who reborn them. But there's someone who always asks me what kit they are, so I do know that. These two here are Lily by Denise Farmer, and I've named them Pacey and Paxton. I don't know who's who right now. They have bracelets, but they're all the way up there. This baby I named Landon. Oh, who is he? Oh, yeah, Ethan by Joanna Gomes. This one is Nora. She is the Noah by Reba Schick. This one I named Evangeline. She is Angelina by Romy Stridham, I believe. And this one is Lucy. I kept her name as Lucy. She is Lucy by Tina Cui. This is Charlemagne by Bonnie Brown, and I named her Serena. These two are Noah and Nathan. What is their kid? I think it's Mia by Priscilla Lopez, I think. I don't know. We'll see. And then the babies that I showed over here, I have Twin A and Twin B by Bonnie Brown, and I named them Cassidy and Kennedy. Then we have three that are all the same kit. These are Walter by Laura Tuzio Roz, and we have this is Wiley, the first one, Willie, the middle one, and Wally, the first one. So again, thank you everyone for watching, and please pray that things go my way at the Landlord Tenant Board.